Students, today we are starting another new important lesson in computer, that is Introduction to Java and BlueJ. Now, this is a programming lesson that we'll be learning. This is the introduction to programming Java and BlueJ. BlueJ is based on Java, and this is lesson number 5, video note number 1. Like I said, that we'll be learning about a bit about Java and BlueJ. Mostly in schools we learn BlueJ. Okay, mostly you learn BlueJ, that is based on Java and other programming language like C++. So let us start the lesson, and the first point that I would want you to understand is, what do we mean by Java? What is Java? Now, some basic things about this. The Java is a very popular programming language that was created in 1995. Okay, and it is owned by a company called as Oracle, and about more than 3 billion devices run Java. So the mobile phone that you're using now to see this video, also Java runs in that also. Okay, if you are most of the electronical devices and most of the devices we use nowadays, Java runs in that. And Java was actually developed by James Gosling at Sun Microsystems. Okay, so it was developed by James Gosling. Remember this name, James Gosling, and it was developed at Sun Microsystems. Now, the next point to understand is, we have learned something about Java. What is Java? It's a programming language, right? Now, what is Java used for? What is the use of Java? We also need to understand this. We know that this is a programming language, but what kind of programming can we do in Java? First, mobile applications. Like I said, that the phone that you're using to watch this video, Java runs in that also. So mobile application, Java is used for mobile applications, especially in Android apps. Then desktop applications, if you're using a desktop, Java runs in your desktop also. And if you're using web applications, like Facebook is a web application, then the school's software that is used, that is a web application. So Java is used to design these web applications. Java is also used for, or it is also used in web servers and application servers. Okay, basically in internet form. And Java is used for games. Now again, the games that you play in the desktop or in the mobile phone, unless and until you have Java running in your phone or laptop or computer, PC or desktop, you cannot play games. Okay, so Java is used for games also. And Java is used for database connection. Like, there are many ways how we can connect the database with each other. So Java is used for database connection also. Now I hope you're understanding that how important is Java and Java, and how common programming language is Java, right? So once you learn how to write codes in Java, the programming codes, you can design games, you can build mobile applications like Android applications, web applications. You can do a lot. Okay, so this is just an introduction and basics. So I encourage you that you have an aim, or you also should have an interest in computer science, both in hardware and software. There are a lot of scopes, okay, both hardware and software engineering. So Java is a programming language that we are learning about, just the basic of it. Now, the question is, why should we use Java? Okay, why should we use Java? Why should we use this programming language? First of all, Java works on many different platforms. Java can run in Windows, Java can run in Macintosh, that is Mac. Mm, Mac is run in Apple computers, right? So Java works on Linux, that's an open source. So Java works on many different platforms. That is why we use Java in all these devices. Now Java is one of the most popular programming language in the world. Most popular programming language. Almost every programmer should know Java language. Okay, Java programming. And Java is quite easy to learn and simple to use. That is why it is most popular programming language. And the best part is that Java is an open source and it is completely free. You don't have to pay anything to download. You don't have to pay extra to download the Java apps or BlueJ that we'll be learning about. Okay, so it's completely open source and it is completely free. So these are some of the reasons why we use Java. And the other reason is that Java is very secure, it is fast, and it is powerful. Okay, so these are the reasons, like I said, that we use Java. And another very important reason is that Java is very close to another programming language, that is C++. Okay, so C++ is another programming language where we have different programming codes. Now, the programming codes that are used in C++, they are also used in Java. So all those who know C++, it'll be easy to use Java programming. Okay, Java programming code. And all those who know Java, it's very easy to write a program in BlueJ. So these are the reasons why we use Java programming language. Okay. Now, another very important point about Java, that now the other very important point about Java is that Java is an object-oriented programming language. We also call it as OOPS or OOP, double OP. So Java is an object-oriented programming language. We'll be learning about objects and classes, okay, and why Java is known as an object-oriented programming language. Now, this object-oriented programming language is basically based on the concept of objects. Anything that we see around is like an object. Okay, so in this programming language, we actually create a model that we see around us, and based on the things that we see around us, we use them as objects, and then we design a program. So that is the reason why Java is known as an object-oriented programming language. Now that was the introduction to Java. Okay, now like I said that in your high school, um, you learned Java through BlueJ. Okay, so now let us see about BlueJ. Introduction to BlueJ. Now BlueJ, or the development of BlueJ, started in 1999 by Michael Colling and John Rosenberg. These were the two people who started developing BlueJ in 1999. Okay, and BlueJ is an IDE, that means Integrated Development Environment. Okay, you remember this, that BlueJ is an integrated development environment. In short, we use IDE. And BlueJ is Windows based, like we say that Java can run almost in all the platforms. So likewise, BlueJ is also can run on any platform. So BlueJ is a Windows based platform for Java development kit. Okay, so BlueJ is basically for Windows platform that runs on the JDK. JDK refers to Java development kit. And BlueJ, like we learned that Java is an open source and completely free, so BlueJ can be freely downloaded from its official website. You can see on your screen, that is www.bluej.org, and you have to select. We'll be learning how to download and install. Okay, so BlueJ also is completely free. So these programming languages like Java and BlueJ, okay, like we learned that BlueJ is Windows-based platform for Java Development Kit. Okay, that is JDK. Let's see the features of BlueJ. What are some of the features of BlueJ? Okay, the first feature is that the tasks can be performed more conveniently, more easily. The tasks in BlueJ can be performed more easily or more conveniently. The second feature is it shows you a sample program. When you open BlueJ, okay, you will be shown a sample program to give an idea of programming. Debugging is a very important thing in BlueJ. Debugging is easy as it indicates error at the bottom of the screen. Now when you run this program, uh, if in any line if there is an error where you're writing the programming code, then below the programming space the errors will be indicated, so you will be able to know that which line number you have the error. Okay, now BlueJ allows debugging. What is debugging? Debugging means to check bugs, or in simple words, to check if there are any errors and correct them. That is the meaning of debugging. Okay, so BlueJ allows to interact with objects. We learned that Java is an object-oriented programming language. Same is with BlueJ. This also is an object-oriented programming language. OOP. And so BlueJ allows to interact with different objects. Now let's come to this point, how to install BlueJ. Okay, like we learned that it's free software, so you can download it from its official site. And before you are downloading it, make sure that JDK, okay, this is actually JDK, not JKD. All right, JDK, that is Java Development Kit. So first you have to make sure that JDK or Java Development Kit is installed first before you actually download and install, excuse me, before you actually download and install BlueJ. Okay, so you have to be careful about this. See that you download JDK and then install it in your computer before installing or downloading and installing BlueJ. All right, the first step, go to the official page of BlueJ and click on the link based on your preference, whether it is Windows, which operating system you're using. You have an option of BlueJ for Windows, BlueJ for Mac, and BlueJ for Linux. So you select that. If you're using Windows, then you have to select for Windows. All right, BlueJ setup box will appear. Then click on the next, and on the next page click again on next, then click install and finish. It's quite simple, right? You can just download it from the official page. It's free, you don't have to pay anything, and the step to install is very simple. All right, now here is where I want to show you. Like I said, first you need to download and install a JDK. Okay, again it is JKD, it should be JDK. Okay, that is Java Development Kit. So there's a slight mistake here, make correction. Okay, if you're writing notes, see that you write it as JDK, not JKD. That stands for Java Development Kit. So the first step is you need to go to the official site, like I said, and the official site is https www.bluej.org. And when you click on this link, what will happen? This download and install page will appear. Like I said, you have to either select Windows if you're using Windows. If you're using Apple or Mac operating system, then you'll have to use Mac, or the open source, that is Ubuntu, Debian, or Linux, or any other operating system that you're using. So you have to select which operating system you're using, and based on that you will have to download it. Now, for example, we use Windows, right? Windows operating system. So if I click on Windows operating system, what will happen? Download will start. Okay, so now you can see that BlueJ Windows 502.msi, this is being downloaded. So downloading is very simple. Okay, so first we have to download it and then install it. Now, steps to create an application in Java. What are the steps to create an application in Java? The first step is to write the program, that is the source code. Then we have to compile the source code. That, in simple words, we also use the term run the program, compile the source code, and at the end we need to execute the program to see the output of the program. Three very simple steps to create an application in Java. Right, the first step is to write the program or the source code. The second step is to compile the source code, and when you compile, the computer will also debug to check, it will check errors, and if there are any errors it will show you that the error is present in which line number. You have to make correction, and after you have made correction, if there is no error shown, then you can execute the program. And when you execute the program, executing the program means to see the output of your program. Like, there are very simple programs that you can write here. For example, you can write a program of calculator, right? And you can write a program to solve mathematical problems. So there are some very small programs that you can write here and create an application in Java. All right, now objects and classes. Okay, objects and classes. First, we'll talk about objects. An object is an entity. What is an entity? A thing that exists independently. Anything that exists independently is an entity. Now, if you see a person, he or she is an entity. If you see an animal, he or she is an entity. If you see a vehicle, a bike, a car, a bus, it is an entity. Okay, anything that exists independently. And so what is an object? An object is an entity that can be identified with some characters and behaviors. So an entity that can be identified using some characters, characteristics, and behaviors. We'll also be seeing about this. For example, let's say that we are writing a program or creating a model on traffic. You know that in traffic we have different vehicles, right? So one kind of entity that we will be dealing when we are creating a program on a model of traffic. So one of the entity that we will be dealing with is cars, right? We learned that an entity is an independent thing. So if we are writing a program on the simulation of traffic, so one of the entity there is car. And the question might come, what is a car in our context? Okay, now what is car in the model of traffic that we will be writing in this program? Is car a class or an object? We'll be learning about class also. First, let us understand these two are very important. Okay, objects and class in Java programming or BlueJ programming. So, is car a class or an object? Now, the question might come, what color is a car? How fast can it go? Where is it right now? Okay, these are some of the questions that might arise. Now, this is similar like flowchart and algorithm that we had learned earlier, right? I hope you also remember about algorithm and flowchart. We cannot answer these questions until we talk about one specific car, right? What color is it? How fast can it go? Where is it right now? We cannot talk about it unless and until we're talking about one specific car. And the reason is that the word car in this context refers to the class car. There are many cars in traffic, right? So that comes under class. But when we are talking about a specific car, okay, we are talking about cars in general, not about one particular car. So if I speak of an old car that is parked at home in garage, is this talking about car in general or is this talking about car in particular? Right? I think it is talking about car in particular, right? That old car that is parked at home in garage. Now we can answer the questions above. The old car is red in color, it doesn't go very fast, and it is parked in the garage. Okay, now I'm talking about an object. I'm talking about a particular car. But when I'm talking about car in general, then we talk about car as class. Okay, like for example, you're in class 8. If I'm talking about a particular person in the class, I'm talking, so that particular person is an object I'm talking about, who is having an independent character and behavior. But when I'm talking about the students of class 8, then I'm talking about a class. But when I'm talking about a particular student, I'm talking about particular student in class 8. All right, I'm talking about an object. All right, so I hope this is clear. Now we usually refer to a particular object as an instance. Okay, particular object is referred as an instance. Like I said, a particular car, a particular student in class 8, all these can be referred to as an instance. And sometimes an instance is specific representation of an object, right? If I'm talking about one particular student in class 8, that means I'm specifying that object. And when I'm specifying that object, which means that I am talking about an instance. All right, you have to remember these terms. We refer objects as instances when we want to emphasize that they are of a particular class. So we refer objects as instances when we want to emphasize that they are of a particular class. That means students of class 8. Right? So when I'm saying students of class 8, so what I'm doing, I'm specifying that object. Object is what? The student. And when I'm saying the students of class 8, that means I'm specifying more about it. So that will be termed as the instance. Now let's see one example, a few examples. For example, if bicycle is a class, then mountain bike or mountain bicycle, sports bicycle, etc. can be considered as objects of the class. Right? Bicycle is a class. There are different types of bicycle, right? Mountain bicycle, sports bicycle. So these types of bicycles will be considered as objects of the class. So I hope you have understood this. For example, a bicycle is an object, and like I said, that it has different characters and behaviors. Characteristics like what company is that of, who is the manufacturer, type of the cycle, color of the cycle, model of the cycle, behavior, is there gear, how fast it goes, it starts, it stops, right? These are the behavior of the cycle. So this is an example of object. Now let us understand about class. What is class? A class is just a blueprint of the object. Okay, a class is a blueprint of the object. Like I said, that student or students, or let's say a particular student, is referred to an object. And when I say the students of class 8, that means I'm talking about class 8. Class 8 student is an object. Class 8 students on a whole is a class. So a class is a blueprint for the object. And before we create an object, we first need to define the class. Okay, that there is class 8, room 8, where if you have registered for class 8, then you will be going to room number 8 or class 8, right? So first we need to define the class, then only we can create, or then only we can set the objects. When you take admission, when you had taken admission class 8, and if we had a regular class, you cannot go to any other class, right? Even if you are having online class, you cannot attend any other class. You have to attend class 8's online class, right? The subjects that you study, that is for class 8. So first we need to define the class, and then we need to create an object. Now we can think of a class as a sketch of a house, for example, like a prototype of a house. And this contains all the details like floors, doors, windows, etc., right? So like another example that I'm stating is class 8. Okay, class 8 also contains some details, like it also has tables, chairs, and there are different types of students there, boys, girls. Okay, so class contains objects, and like I said, that a class is a blueprint for the object, and based on the descriptions we build the house. So that means house is the object, right? And since many houses can be made from the same description, we can create many objects from a class. So remember this point also, that using the same descriptions, we can create many objects from a class. Let's see one example. Like, for example, computer is a class, right? There are different types of computer, that different manufacturers of computer. So there are different types of computer. So a computer is a class. Now you see here that there are different companies, right? HP, Dell, Apple, Sony, Lenovo. All these are objects, different objects. And all these objects are put up in a class that is computer, right? All these companies, they make computers. So all these companies are entities, they are separate objects. And when they are combined together, they are called as class. I hope you have understood this, and I hope you have understood this. I want you to go through the video again to understand it much better. We are learning programming. This is your first programming, okay? And we are learning BlueJ, that is based on Java. And in this video note, I have explained to introduction to Java, introduction to BlueJ, some features of BlueJ, how can we download and how can we install it. And we also learned about objects and classes. Okay, so go back through the video again, watch it many times to understand it much better. So we'll be studying further. I'll be explaining to you in the next video. So till then, keep learning and keep studying well.